Pokemon Legends Kyurem needs to happen. Whoa. I know what you guys are thinking. Game Freak doesn't need to rush the games. Like, come on, we don't need another repeat of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. For months, Pokemon fans have been awaiting the announcement of a new game, and it might be happening soon. And if we're following a pattern, then Generation 5 is up next. And who doesn't want Generation 5 to be back in the spotlight? It's been over 10 years since we've last heard about this generation. We've heard speculations within the community about an open world type game involving Generation 5, as spotted by some leakers in the Pokemon community. Is this hinting towards Pokemon Legends Kyurem? Possibly. But this could also mean we're getting something Generation 5 related, possibly Black and White 3 or Black and White Remakes, which would also be very cool. I go more in depth into this topic on my last video. Oh, and that reminds me, thank you for reaching 10,000 views on my last video and over 600 likes. You guys are awesome. Pokemon Legends Kyurem will most likely be diving into the past of Unova if we're following the same pattern as Pokemon Legends Arceus. Anything's on the table since we know time travel and going back in time is a possibility, so we could also be going into the future too. This could tie back into the DLC since we know that some of the leakers said that the DLC characters would be involved with the new Pokemon games. You know how cool that would be, traveling back and forth through time, exploring the past and present of Unova? That would be crazy. So if we're dealing with the past of the Unova region, Unova, I don't know, then we'll be meeting the ancestors of our favorite characters, just like in Legends Arceus. Just the thought of this makes me want this game so badly.
Give it to me! Give it to me! Just give it! Damn!
I want this game just as badly as you guys, but I don't want another repeat of... So, Game Freak should take their time on this game, please. And I think Game Freak can actually put out a good quality game with efficiency. As we've seen with Pokemon Legends Arceus, in which Game Freak made a really good game, but there were definitely some flaws that need to be addressed. The clunky controls, inconsistent items, the removal of abilities, battles are even more tedious and boring than they were in the mainline games. I actually take that back. The battles in Pokemon Legends Arceus were innovative and new to the series. I feel like if Pokemon were to build upon and improve this battle style, then it could make for a really good mechanic. It's still turn-based though, because what is Pokemon without a turn-based style game? Pokemon's always been turn-based ever since Generation 1, and I don't see them changing anytime soon. I don't know if Pokemon Legends Kyurem is going to be similar to Pokemon Legends Arceus, in which it is going to be a strictly single-player game. We did get trading in Legends Arceus, but we were not given the ability to battle with our friends, which was a bummer. As much as I like Legends Arceus, this really made it hard for me to enjoy battling, because one of the main features that I look forward to is battling with my friends and absolutely getting demolished or trash talking if I beat them. No, but literally I'm so bad at Pokemon battles. Like literally anybody in my Twitch chat can tell you how bad I am at Pokemon. Oh, I'm getting off topic again. I would love to see the Legend series with a multiplayer style twist like in Scarlet and Violet. If you implemented the stuff from Scarlet and Violet into the Legend series with all the multiplayer features using union circles or anything similar to that style, then I think this would actually make for really great games. I'm not a huge fan of single player games, but if you can make them interesting enough, then I will be more intrigued. But again, if it is going to be opted for a single player story, then I think they should really focus more on the storyline instead of giving us tedious tasks like in Legends Arceus. I wasn't a huge fan of completing all those tasks, but again, this is my opinion, and I know some people enjoyed them. It was similar to the Zelda series and Breath of the Wild. I like those games, but it can be a bit of a snoozer sometimes when grinding. One thing I loved about Legends Arceus though was the crafting mechanic. I found it so cool to have the ability to craft certain items in the game. Like bro, this isn't Minecraft, but I'll take it. What's next? Are we going to be able to build houses in Pokemon? Yeah, that's probably never going to happen. I talked a little bit about this topic back in my last video about the problem of Pokemon Black and White Remakes or Legends Kyurem, but a highly respected leaker on Twitter said that the DLC is going to be intertwined with the new Pokemon games. If that's the case, then are we going to be able to go back in time like in Legends Arceus? Or are we going to be able to go into the future? Because that would be absolutely crazy. But if we do go back in time like in Legends Arceus, then I would love to see the ancestors of all the Pokemon trainers, like Bianca, N, Cheren, and Iris. And going back to N, there is still a lot of mystery behind his backstory. Because as a child, N was founded by Jetsis, and Jetsis took him in and raised him with the intention of becoming the king of Team Plasma. I would want to dig more into the lore and find out more about the backstories of all our beloved characters. Making subtle references to Pokemon Black and White would also be really amazing. As we've seen in Pokemon Legends Arceus, they did this by showing the ancestors of Cynthia and even him being the... Okay, I had to cut this out because it was a spoiler and I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't played Pokemon Legends Arceus yet, especially if there's going to be a new Legends game coming out. But going back to Pokemon Legends Kyurem, I think the majority of the Pokemon community agrees when I say this, but it should go back and talk about the original dragon and its formation. Going back to the original original dragon, it only makes sense since Legends Arceus talked about the past legendary Pokemon Arceus. We don't know a whole lot of information about the original dragon, we just know it split into the 3 legendary Pokemon as we know today, Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem, known as the Tau Trio. Reshiram and Zekrom are polar opposites as formerly mentioned by the creator. Reshiram is more light, airy, and feminine, while Zekrom is more hard, tough, and masculine. Going into the lore of Black and White, they're twin prince trainers who formerly owned these Pokemon, fought one another because they had differences, then realized that fighting wasn't the answer. And going back to Kyurem, well, Kyurem represents the concept of Wuji, which is the absence of yin and yang, which are Zekrom and Reshiram, respectively. So Kyurem constantly goes out to seek either yin or yang depending on the version you get, which forms the legendaries as you know, Black Kyurem and White Kyurem. The two contraries fight because they are opposites, yet they complete each other, similar to the concept of yin and yang. The two contraries are also what allow free will and awareness to exist, reflected in Pokemon by the choice between truth and ideals. I find the backstory and lore of Pokemon Black and White to be one of the best in the Pokemon series. I hope we get to explore more about the lore of the past Unova region and the formation of the original dragon before it split. Imagine being able to finally see the original dragon and possibly catch it. That would be so crazy. We already know the lore behind the Tau Trio, but anything before that is just kind of fuzzy. One thing we know about Kyurem is that Kyurem holds enough cold energy to freeze entire cities instantaneously, and when it's at the giant chasm, that power grows to be enough to freeze whole regions. In addition, Kyurem also possesses the ability to see possible futures. So we know that Kyurem holds a lot of power in the Unova region. I would love to learn more about the lore in the possible Legends Kyurem game. Since the Unova region is based off of past America, then making references to old American culture would be very cool to see. Like how Legends Arceus was Sinnoh and the Sinnoh region was based in Japan and used the old Japanese style to depict its past. I feel the same could go with Unova. The main hub in Pokemon Legends Arceus was Jubilife Village, which was known in Diamond and Pearl as Jubilife City. I feel like the main hub for Pokemon Legends Kyurem could be Castelia City, since it is based off of New York after all, and New York, just like Pokemon, has ports that you can travel to. Since it is the capital of the Unova region and it is one of the biggest cities in Pokemon. We could also see the formations of other cities and towns in the Unova region. For example, imagine coming across old Nimbasa City and getting guided through the town by Alessa's old ancestors. What PLA didn't have is ability to fast travel between towns because we weren't even given towns besides Jubilife Village. I mean, is it a town or a village? Same thing, but Legends Arceus was a fun game, it just felt like it didn't have enough. Just felt empty once you beat the game and completed everything, and also completed the Pokédex. It's something that the next Legends game can improve upon in the series. Also the outbreak methods. I wish it didn't have the weather effects every single massively massive outbreak, or whatever it's called. But like, why do I gotta go into a thunderstorm or snowstorm just to catch some Pokemon in a herd? And I gotta ditch out some Oran berries just to be able to see some of the Pokemon in the outbreak. The shiny hunting mechanic was okay, but it could be improved upon, especially with the snowstorm and thunderstorm time limit we got. Another question that can be asked is, what are our starters gonna be? And what's this region gonna be called? As we saw in Legends Arceus, we got Oshawott, Cyndaquil, and Rowlet as our starters, and honestly, I didn't see that coming anywhere. We got thrown a curveball, and for all we know, Game Freak could be picking random starters, so we have no clue. Also, in Legends Arceus, the region was called the Hisui region, which is said to be past Sinnoh. In Legends Arceus, we got multiple Hisuian versions like Growlithe, Arcanine, Voltorb, Electrode, Typhlosion, and the list goes on. Me personally, I would love to see version exclusives of the Swords of Justice. Like Cobalion, Terrakion, Virizion, and Keldeo. I feel like they didn't get enough love as Pokemon. This is just going into the lore and what could possibly happen for Pokemon Legends Kyurem games. But on my last video, some of you guys actually said you didn't want a Legends Kyurem game or a Pokemon Black and White remake. Some of you guys wanted Generation 2 to have some love with a Legends Victini and Generation 6 to have some love with a Pokemon Kalos remake. I think X and Y will get its turn later on down the line. After all, I did grow up with those games, so I would love to see it. And Let's Go Johto was being rumored a couple months ago, so I also think that could be a cool idea. It is also rumored that there is a Pokemon Presents in the next couple of days, so I'll be making more content following that information. Who knows, the Present might drop the day this video gets out, and could be really good or really bad depending on what they announce. Drop your ideas for Legends Kyurem down in the comments because I will be reading every single one. And you guys have been absolutely killing it with the support because we are so close to monetization. So if you've watched this far into the video, I just want to say thank you and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. But I'll see you in the next video. Bye!